RMBI gene, here to take you on another level and new horizons. See clear, no visine.
Hello everybody, my name is Reggie Maddox, and you know I do the Simply Straight Talk podcast. Right now, sort of in between some projects because I'm waiting for a couple people that work for me to kind of submit their work so I can get some things done. But in the meantime, I just kind of want to throw out another quick video, and I want to talk about something that just seemed to come up today in a couple conversations as I was talking to some of my colleagues, and that's about families becoming divided. Now, I know every family has this issue. Now, I'm not talking about husband and wife getting divorced. I'm talking about well, you know what I'm saying? I'm not talking about just divorce, but I'm talking about mother, father, daughter, son, cousins, aunts, uncles, nieces, nephews, grandmothers, grandfathers. I'm talking about the initial family, not the add-ins, but the add-ins will play a part later. But I'm talking about the initial families. And it's really surprised how many fathers don't talk to their sons, how many daughters don't talk to their mothers, how many cousins and don't communicate. You know, it's just aunts not talking, uncles not talking. And it just really amazed me today that when we had this it was just a random conversation, but to hear people talk about, you know, like one guy said, I haven't spoken to my brother in 10 years. And he has no inclination to ever speak to him again. But then there was one girl who said that her and her sister haven't had a relationship in 4 years. And she wants the relationship, but she feels like she's done everything she could to try to get that relationship back. And she feels like all she got was wasted time and hurt. So it just made me think, man, that there are so many families out there or people who are involved with their families, and they absolutely have for some reason become divided. Now, the reasons a family will become divided, I mean, it can vary on different scales. I know immediately a lot of people jump to, sexual abuse, you know, and that's not always the case. It's not always about sexual abuse when families become divided. You know, sometimes families become divided because as children, they may be tight, but as they grow older, they grow apart. And when they try to come back together, it's just not the same thing, because you can only talk about what happened in the old days so long before you realize we have nothing else in common, nothing else to talk about. You know, sometimes you get family members to where some family members feel like they're better than the other family members, you know. And they let the other family members know it. They talk about how much their shoes cost. They talk about how much their house costs. You know, they want to make it seem like they got this grand, perfect life and everybody wants to be them. So you have situations like that. But I think a lot of people are realizing, or come to realize, or feel is a better word to say, that they don't get support from their family. You have people who have said, you know what, I want to start a business, or I want to write a book, I want to become a movie director, I want to become an actress, a singer, you know what I'm saying, or I want to get into politics, I want to become a nurse, a doctor. And they feel like the family members don't support them. You know, it's like when they do put something out and they're trying to move in a certain direction, they feel like it's positive. They don't feel like they're getting that positive feedback from their family. And that can be tough, because one thing we all want is to feel like if anybody has our back, it's our family. Now, that creates a lot of problems, especially when the people who you feel you've grown up with, who should know you, who should want to see you succeed, do nothing to help you or support you. So you may have people get, you know, families divided over that. Some people, when they go up, they leave home. It's like, you know what? You guys never had my back. Why do I want to hang out with you? You know, you also have situations to where family members may marry somebody. In some cases, they may feel like, you know, you should have supported me, but you were so busy trying to support my ex, who's not even a part of the family. But yet you was doing everything for them, comforting them, talking to them, but you never really talked to me. So they feel like emotionally, when they was going through a divorce or a breakup, that the family never took their side. And one show that really reminded me of that, if you ever see the movie about the Hatfields and McCoys, I think everybody wants that family bond like that. And that family bond is like, you're a Hatfield, we got your back. If you do wrong, we'll address the issue when we get home. But in public, you're a Hatfield. And as a Hatfield, we stick together. And I think many families want that. They want that bond of like, listen, I may do wrong, but you have my back. When I get home, yes, let me have it. But a lot of people feel like they don't have that, because they just feel like certain family members are all about themselves. You do have the situation too where family members just sort of move apart sometimes. They lose the communication. Sometimes you may have, and this is more common for people who had like the older grandmothers who, you got that one family member who sort of said, listen, this is a family. They the ones that got the family together. And when that person is out of the picture, whether they passed away or moved away somewhere else, you come to realize that a lot of the family unity and get-togethers slowly start to go away. And as the family unity and get-togethers go away, so does the family bond. Because now family members are not interacting very much anymore. They're not talking to each other anymore. Everybody's sort of doing their own thing. And then it just leads to rumors and gossip and hearsay. And that type of stuff can really destroy a family, because sometimes a family member can be mad and never tell you why they're mad. They just want nothing to do with you, even though you may ask. It's more of a yelling match instead of a match to understand what the root of the issue is. So both people just go their separate ways. But families become divided for whatever reason. There's a lot of reasons. Like I said, sometimes there is sexual abuse involved. A mother with a son, or a mother with a daughter, a father with a son, a father with a daughter. It happens. It's unfortunate, but it happens. But a lot of times that's not the reason why a lot of family members actually become divided, where you have a son or who has nothing to do with the family, uncle, a cousin, or whatever. Because I think a lot of family members really feel like they don't have support. You don't get support from your family, And I know sometimes we all have that family member that every time they call, they need something. But we also have those family members that don't call and trying to do something, but nothing is done. Because I can't tell you how many times on Facebook I've seen people post stuff about strangers being more helpful than family, or strangers being more responsive on family. And it does happen. You'll find more strangers. Put it like this. When I share stuff on social media, I have two people guaranteed that they're going to like it, they're going to look at it, and they're going to share it. And that is a musician by the name of Tone G Music, and this guy by the name of Mike Glenny. He's in California. Tone G is in Florida. I have never met either one of these guys, but I have probably spoken to them more than I have members of my family. And it's just, and they're very positive guys. And some people take that as, wow, these are people I don't know who's looking at what I'm doing and sharing it. They see I'm trying to start a business, they're sharing it. They see I'm trying to grow what I'm doing, they're sharing it, they're liking it. And I think for some people, it's as simple as that when it comes to the family dynamic. It's not all about give me money. It's not all about, help me pay a bill. Sometimes it's just about, listen, I'm I'm trying to write some poetry, share my poetry. You know, I got this, and I got a song on YouTube. Go to YouTube and like my song and comment. It's as simple as that. But families become divided, and sometimes it's very difficult to get those relationships back. And as hard as we may try sometime, you know, sometimes, yes, you can get those relationships back. They'll come back because maybe the family members will realize, like, wow, I miss what we used to have. I miss being able to call my sister, my cousin, my uncle, my brother, and just talk, bounce stuff off of them. But for people who feel like, wow, I never had nobody in my family to do that with, then for them, it's kind of like me reuniting with my family has no real advantage for me because they don't support anything I do. I've never been able to bounce any ideas off of them. I never felt supported by them, you know. And so when it's stuff like that, it's kind of hard to get that. It's kind of hard. I can kind of see why somebody would say there's no relationship there and they don't miss anything about the relationship. But it doesn't mean that there can't be a relationship. You know, because sometimes as you get older, because one thing I learned about myself as I've gotten older, you know, for those of you who listen to the podcast, you know, I've been married more than once, okay? And enough to learn my lesson that I'm very cautious about who I bring into my life. And I'm not rushing. I'm not out here like, ooh, I gotta meet somebody. You know, so I am definitely more of a introvert. So the older you get, the more you become comfortable with your situation. So for kids, for people who are young, you know, in their 20s or something like that, and they kind of like go through family struggles, it's more of a chance to get them back into a relationship with the family than it is somebody my age. Because when you get into your 40s and your 50s, you are not really looking for things like that anymore, especially if you've been by yourself for a while. You become more of like, I guess it's just me. You know, like Martin said in that movie, Welcome Home, Roscoe Jenkins, you know, it was a team of me. And that's a perfect example of a family that got divided. You know, one person really just took himself out of the whole family picture and didn't go back home. And it was basically because he didn't feel like his father gave him the attention that he needed. His father wasn't, you know, didn't really treat him like a son. He didn't feel like a son. He felt like the adopted brother was more loved, was more taken care of, more seen as a son. So he went out, became this big TV star. You know, so sometimes it can motivate people to go and do things with their life. Sometimes it can take people down a road that's not so good, you know, because I'll be honest with you, as far as having a father figure, I think that's important. Now, I never had a father figure in my life. My father was, put it like this, he ain't even a father. The man on my birth certificate, whose name on my birth certificate, was never there. I have no memories whatsoever of going anywhere, playing anything, doing anything. He virtually was just a name on a piece of paper. You know what I'm saying? So the thing about it is, you know, when you get two people like Martin's character was in that movie, that's another reason you'll see a lot of families become divided. And it's the same thing with girls. If a woman, you know, has two daughters and she feels like this daughter could win a beauty pageant, so she's spending all her time putting this one in pageants, putting this one in contests, always like uplifting this one daughter, and the other daughter is like, yeah, I love you, but you know, this one's gonna be something. You're gonna be a good person, but she's gonna be something in life. And children recognize that. They see that. And that can cause friction, not only between the mother and the daughter, between the two sisters, because the one sister may feel like we don't match up. And you see it all the time in movies, but do you pay attention to it? In Guardians of the Galaxy, think about, I cannot think of the green girl and the robot girl. People are like, I can't think of their names. The green girl and the robot girl, the father pitted them against each other, and he favored the one daughter. The other daughter was angry and didn't really care for either one of them. She was doing everything she could to prove that she was just as good as the other daughter. A lot of times, families are so into proving that one family member is good enough to be a part of the family, or good enough to conquer something, or good enough to, or just wants to be accepted, to the point to where they get tired. And this causes a lot of people to sometimes, well, not a lot of people, but it causes some people to go out and be accepted by people who are not good people. You know, you have young kids who feel like in the gang, they at least treat me like crap, but they at least treat me like I'm part of something. At least I know if I get in a fight, they're going to come run up and help me. At least I know if somebody's got my back. Where some people feel like with their family, they don't have that. They don't have somebody to have their back. Being a part of a family is good. Having a family relations that's tight, to where families can communicate and get along, that's even better. But in reality, in truth, all families don't get along. And oftentimes, many families are caught in a big divide. It is a big divide. And you'll be surprised if you really got to know some of the people that you hang around with and talk to, that there are people that have not spoken to members of their family in years. And, you know, when I was listening to this one guy and he was just telling his story, man, it was just really sad, you know, because he really feels like he's by himself. I was like, dang, you know, and it's kind of hard because it's not something you can really give advice on, because when you're dealing with family issues, everybody has their own thing that's going, you know what I'm saying? And it's hard to say, well, you need to do this, you need to do that, because when you're dealing with the emotions, especially when it comes to family, that's tough. That's tough because the best thing you can do is listen, which is all I did. I just listened. You know, families are divided more than ever. And I know right now with this whole lockdown thing, it's probably going to put a lot of families to the test, especially with people not having jobs right now, people needing money right now, trying to pay their bills right now. You got some family member that's probably going to ride together and say, listen, we got to make sure everybody's taken care of. And then you got some family members that say, listen, that's going to tell somebody like, well, you know, you should have saved your money. You should have put your money up. You should have got another job. Don't just sit around. I told you should have did something else. The thing about it is you're going to have that. And that's more of what pushes some family members away. And like I said, sometimes it pushes them into it pushes them into the direction of people that don't care, that's got bad intentions. So we don't always want to see people in a world to where they are not respected, to where family members are put against each other for the wrong reasons, turned against each other for the wrong reasons. Does my family have the best relationship? Yeah, no. No. I mean, but that's just the real level. You know what I'm saying? That's just real life. You know, I can't sit here and lie and tell you that, you know, about other people having families and sit here and pretend like I got the best family dynamics in the world. No, I mean, because things happen. You know, I might do a show on that one day. I don't know. That's kind of deep. I might do a show on that one day. But, you know, just listening to other people today, man, just really made me think about that. It really made me think about how easy it is for families to get divided and how oftentimes we don't have that uncle, we don't have that grandfather or grandmother around, because back in the day, that's used to be the foundation of the family, and they passed that on. You know what I'm saying? Because they made sure that families got together. Like my grandmother, Willamette Hollis, man, love her to death. She made sure that every Sunday, everybody in the family met at the house to eat. Everybody, all the kids got together and played, but she guaranteed that happened. It was no option. There was no opt out of that. We went to church, you came back to the house, and everybody ate, sat on the porch. I think one of the fondest things, man, was one time, it was the only time I ever remember us doing this, but we actually took a picture with everybody on the front porch. That was probably one of the most beautiful pictures we ever took. It was the last picture we ever took like that too. But that's how it is, man. So if you're out there and your family is, kind of divided right now, don't hold any anger or hurt. And I understand things happen. Sometimes it might be a sister who slept with her sister's boyfriend, a mother who slept with her daughter's boyfriend, a dad who kind of stepped out and trying to step back in, stepped out. You might have somebody that's been addicted to something, somebody maybe that, committed crimes. You just have to find a way to kind of like make peace if you can. I understand it's not always possible. It's not an overnight thing, but it's possible. It's possible if you want it and don't rush it. Now, like I said, once you get my age, it's very difficult to get that family dynamic back, especially when you get to the point to where you feel like nobody was there for you. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times people don't know your story. Even your own family doesn't know your story, because there are things that I went through that nobody in my family knows. They have absolutely no clue of some of the struggles that I went through or going through. You know what I'm saying? And it's the same thing. It could be things that they went through that I don't know about. And it could be the same for you. You could have family members going through some things that you just don't know about, especially if you guys don't have that line of communication. You don't have that relationship. And it's tough. Some people, they do what they got to do. Some people try to work it out. But families become divided for a lot of reasons. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that every family is going to bridge that gap and be happy and sing Kumbaya by the end of 6 months or whatever. Some families come back together. They work it out. Some families don't. You know what I'm saying? Some members of the family want that relationship, and you got other members of the family who's kind of like, I'm not ready yet. But the thing about it is, sometimes you can pick up the phone. They may answer, they may not answer. But I think what I like to tell people, and I won't like to tell people, but one thing I always believe in is self-reflection. If you're in a situation to where you don't have a good relationship with your family, now you may know why you don't have a good relationship as far as with them, because you feel like they did this or they said this or they didn't do this and should have did that. But just take a moment and be honest with yourself. And you don't have to tell nobody, but just be honest with yourself. What is it that you could have done that could have made the situation better? Were you completely innocent regarding the family being divided? What role did you play? How did you play a part in the family becoming divided? Because we all play a part. We may not see our part as being as big as somebody else's, but we all play a little bit of part in things like that when it happens. You just have to make the decision that you're going to do what you need to do in order to bridge the gap if you can. Like I said, every family issue revolving around families being divided, it may be the same circumstance, but the root of the problem could be different because there's going to be different scenarios that play out. So you just got to kind of be mindful of the fact that it happens. If you can pick up that phone call and it works out, great. If you just start out sending a text message saying, hey man, I just want to see how you doing. Hey mom, hey dad, hey cousin, niece, nephew, just wanted to check on you, see if everything is okay. But kind of look at your part and think about it. You know, when did it break down? What did I do something wrong? Could I have been more supportive? Was I there when they needed me? Did I do the right things? Did I say the right things? Is there something that I need to say, you know what? I should have did this and I didn't. I should have been there for this. I sided with this person and I shouldn't have sided against you. Because the thing about it is, man, honestly, in my perfect world of family, it was like you never go against your brother. You know what I'm saying? In public. You never go against your sister, your mother, aunt, uncle, your cousin. You never go against your family in public. Now, when you get in private, you can say, listen, I backed you up out there, but you fucked up. You did the wrong thing. That is not how you should have handled that. You shouldn't have did that. You shouldn't have said that. It was the wrong time, the wrong place. And that brings me to another point real quick. You need to know that just because you may make more money than other people in the family, you need to know because just because you may have the bigger house doesn't mean that you have the respect. And some people in families feel that way. They feel like just because they own the business or got the money or got the big house or the fancy car or they wear the name brand clothes and shoes that, you know, everybody in the family respects me. So if I say something, you know, they gonna listen to me. That's not always the case. The family member that gets the most respect is the one that's normally there, that has humility, and that's more caring. He'll tell somebody when they did wrong. He'll show them tough love, but it's all in a respectful way. Now, a person may not like it in the beginning, but after when they sit back and think about it, they'll be like, well, dang. You know what? Cousin Ted had been real with me the whole time. I may not like he said this. I may not like he did that. I asked him for this. He said no, but he was real with me the whole time. I know if I go to him, he gonna tell me the truth. That's what you want. That's the type of person that somebody respects. Having money and fancy clothes and all this type stuff, having college degrees don't mean somebody gonna respect you. Somebody gonna respect you because of the person you are and how you present yourself. And a lot of people don't seem to realize that. And that makes them think that they can say anything or tell people everything. And really people just looking at you like you crazy. But anyway, that was my little rant about the family dynamics. Kind of all over the place, I know. But hopefully it touched some part of maybe a situation you going through. You know, maybe you're dealing with some family division right now. Like I said, take your time. Don't try to force any type of relationship. Don't try to justify everything you did is right. Take time to sit back and say, you know what? I could have did this. I could have said that. You know what I'm saying? And pick the right place to have the discussion. Sometimes it's not about doing it within the whole family. Sometimes it's just about being short with your conversation and just say, hey, how you doing? Doing good. Okay. And keep it moving. Just nice, courteous little comments here and there. That's it. Just be kind. Hello, how you doing? And just give things time to build up. Instead of just trying to jump right in. I want to know why you ain't talking to me because I did this. You know, when you do that, you put the person on defensive and immediately they're going to shut down. Or they don't want to hear nothing you got to say. So just think about that. I know this video been kind of long already. But just think about that. And I pray for you. I pray for your families. And I pray that you let love live within you, not hatred, not grudges, not anger, that you let love and peace dwell in the name of God. Hey, thank you guys for listening. Don't forget, check out the Simply Straight Talk Show, and I will see you next week, man. Y'all check it out. We on Apple, we on iHeartRadio, we on Spotify, Listen Notes, Radio Talk, all that. Check it out.
It's time to tune in. This here's so fire. Empower your voice to inspire. Yeah, R.M.B.I.G.